can I introduce you now and welcome you to this Jobs and the Economy Conference, and can I introduce Dr. Alasdair. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for being here. You're very welcome to this event this morning, and I'm quite humble because when we started out we thought that we might get 30 or 40 people to have an interest. And for most of us that have an interest, and I include all of us in this room who have an interest in the economy, the economic challenges that we're faced with have to be the top priority, wherever we're coming from, whether it's coming from business or public service or the political life. And I think while we may have specific problems locally that we need to solve, there's a lot of the problem comes from a global downturn and the various difficulties that we have, not just in Northern Ireland or Belfast, but across these islands, across Europe and across the globe. I think it's an understatement to say that the economic recession has shook many of us out of the complacency that we had and the confidence that we had that things were just going to keep getting better. That's the world that existed and we inhabited before 2007. But for me, it's not enough just to be anxious or concerned about our economic prospects. It's essential that we use the period of recession that we're in to chart our way out of that recession and back to prosperity down the road. There's a risk always that we could become a bit too despondent and we could talk ourselves into despair. But I don't think we should do that either. But we must use the space created at the moment, afforded by the recession, to take stock of all our assets and begin to exploit those assets or opportunities to the full. In that way, I believe we can embrace the future with confidence that every opportunity that exists will be exploited and a stable and prosperous future can be secured. The Northern Ireland Executive's economic strategy, which was issued in March, sets out a vision for 2030. An economy, it's defines it as an economy characterised by a sustainable and growing private sector where a greater number of firms compete in global markets. There's growing employment and prosperity for all. None of us could disagree with that. Indeed, no reasonable person could disagree with that. But of course, visions represent places we're aiming at, aiming for, and not necessarily the places we might be going to or getting to. And I suppose the simple thing that comes to mind is any reasonable person standing where we are at the moment might say, if I wanted to get there, I definitely wouldn't start from here. Any discussion in Northern Ireland economy must start with a frank and honest appraisal of its true nature and properties, and above all, have the sensitive features of the economy laid bare so we can discuss it. I'm very grateful to all involved today, our current panel here at the moment and other panels that we will have as the day rolls out, because I think we have a number of very powerful brains, a number of very powerful speakers to share their thoughts with us. We have a degree of imbalance in our economy, and ultimately that would appear, to my mind, to be unsustainable. But it's not just a question of slashing and burning, it's a question of a gradual change and a gradual building and reinforcing of the private sector. During the last Westminster election, Tory leader David Cameron said that it took 25 years to rebalance our economy around true wealth creation. That wasn't very encouraging for people of my generation, because when I sort of looked at it, I mightn't be here in 25 years' time. In fact, I'm unlikely to be here. And I felt that he was beginning to leave it that I didn't count. But I take comfort from the fact that he was speaking simply in terms of our regional economy in Northern Ireland. To my mind, he didn't take account of the vast potential there is for a cross-border all-island economy to shorten and simple that rebalancing process that we need. The other thing is that while we differentiate on the island here between north and south, across the world, when people look at Ireland, they don't differentiate and they see it as a single economic unit in many cases. And I personally believe, and the SDLP would believe, that we can get a lot more out of the all-island economy and indeed cross-border activity. We had in that context, we had a tremendous meeting here about 3 months ago in this very place where we discussed agriculture and food production and the vast opportunities there are there. And I would certainly like to see northern agriculture and food production piggybacking onto the very ambitious programme that the current government has in the south. Because of our history and the dominance of the public sector in the north, there needs to be significant changes and working in terms of the combination of the two. Because it's not just because the economy is weak. Our economic debate is weak, and to some extent that's what we're looking for today. People have said to me, what do you want to get out of this today? What I want to get out of it is a robust debate, the beginnings of a robust debate that we can work on for the next couple of years and begin to draw the conclusions. I don't for a moment want, or I don't expect robust answers here today, but I do believe that if we start the discussion here, we can take it on to other places. Genuine economic themes rarely dominate the exchanges across the Assembly. And when we are debating the economy, quite often that debate slides into a discussion around public finances or taxation powers. There's little understanding or recognition of the ways in which public spending can and should be used to boost or encourage local growth, as has been done in Wales or Scotland. And to me, this is the politics of the block grant, and I believe it's dangerous for us and for our future and for our young people in particular. We need a steady stream of well-paid jobs rolling into the future. We will never be content to share out poverty in an even-handed fashion, or enforce equality at the level of the dole queue or an immigration queue. Building prosperity ranks alongside achieving reconciliation and social justice in our society. And if we're not on the road to prosperity, all of these other aspects fail because they have to be underpinned by prosperity. So for us, a genuine economic debate would be good, but it would only be a start, because we need to do a lot more than cheer the boom and boo the bust. We need to feel we have a better understanding of the levers that move our economy and all economies. And we want to figure out where jobs we need can come from and how we can help bring them. We brought you here today because we know we don't have all the answers, but we do have some questions, and we know who to ask. And those people that we know who to ask are the people, some of whom we've brought here today. And there are other reasons that we want to start this debate. In fact, if you look at yesterday's unemployment figures, there's 62,600 reasons that we need this debate. Because the total claiming benefits, we're told yesterday, is exactly that figure, 62,600. And these figures represent us with just as many reasons to restore our economy. New jobs are not going to drop from the sky. And we need to put the right policies in place. We need to create the right circumstances for investment and growth. We're confident this can be done, and we hope that after today our confidence will have risen and we'll all be better informed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alasdair. You're all very welcome to this morning's session.